Hey y'all. Today's lesson is using intercepts. We are going to use intercepts to graph equations. And an intercept is where the graph crosses the axes, or where the graph intersects the axes. So there is an x-intercept, and an x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis, where it intersects the x-axis. And the x-axis is the horizontal axis. And if it crosses the x-axis, that's the x-intercept. For it to be an x-intercept, the y has to be 0. For example, right here, the x-intercept is -4, 0, because that is where it crosses the x-axis. The y has to be 0 because it's not up or down. And if the y is 0, then that is the x-intercept. The y-intercept is where it intersects the y-axis, and the x value is 0. So in this example, the y-intercept is 6 because that's where it crosses the y-axis. The x is 0 and the y is 6. So those are your intercepts, your x-intercept, your y-intercept. And we are going to use those. I'm going to show you how to find the intercepts, and I'm going to show you how to graph using the intercepts. And you have an example. If you have, like right here, this point is -4, 0, so the x-intercept is -4. The point is 4, 0, the x-intercept is -4, and right here, the point is 0, 6, so the y-intercept is equal to 6. The y-intercept is 6. All right, so I'm going to show you how to find the intercepts and then how to graph. All right, example 1. Example 1, find the intercepts of the equation. So I'm going to give you two equations. What you do is you substitute 0 in for x and y, depending on which intercept you're trying to find. For A, x plus 4y equals 12. If I want to find the x-intercept, that means I need to substitute y is 0. To find the x-intercept, the y has to be 0. Then I am going to rewrite my equation as y is 0. That 4 times 0 is 0, so x is 12. That means my x-intercept is 12, and the point would be 12, 0. My x-intercept is 12, and the point would be 12, 0. And I got that because I substituted 0 in for my y. The reverse is the same. If you want to find the y-intercept, then you substitute in 0 for your x, which means 0 plus 4y equals 12. The 0 we don't need anymore. 4y equals 12, so y equals 3. That means my y-intercept is 3, and the point is 0, 3. So those are my intercepts. My x-intercept is 12, my y-intercept is 3, and then I can also make an ordered pair. Those are solutions to my equation, because remember, a solution to an equation is an ordered pair. Let me go over B with you. Y equals -3x minus 1. To find my intercepts, I'm going to substitute 0 in. So for x, the x-intercept, I'm going to let y equal 0. 0 equals -3x minus 1. So for this problem, I have a 0 on one side, and then I have an expression on the other. I need to move my 1 over, so I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And I get 1 equals -3x. Divide both sides by -3. And x is going to equal -1/3. That is your x-intercept. It's okay to have a fraction as an intercept because you can still graph it on a coordinate plane. I need to find my y-intercept, so I'm going to substitute x is 0. Y equals -3, 0 minus 1. Sorry, I'm writing crooked. -3 times 0 is 0, so y equals -1. That is my y-intercept, and then my point would be 0, -1. And this point would be -1/3, 0. If we were talking about ordered pairs or if we were talking about solutions. So to find your intercepts, you substitute 0 in for either x or y. All right, example 2. Sorry, finding my boards. Example 2, we're going to find the intercepts, then we're going to use them to graph. So here's where we're putting it all together. I'm going to show you how to find the intercepts very quickly, and then we're going to graph using the intercepts. You don't have to make a table. We're just going to use our intercepts. To find the intercepts, remember, I'm going to find my x-intercept and my y-intercept, I'm going to substitute 0 in. So for my x-intercept, I'm going to substitute 0 in for y. Well, 2 times 0 is 0, so it's kind of like this goes away. And I'm left with 4x equals 8. And if 4x equals 8, then x is equal to 2. So my x-intercept is 2, and the point is 2, 0. Okay? The y-intercept means my x is 0. So if I put a 0 in here, 4 times 0 is 0. It's kind of like this goes away, and I'm left with 2y equals 8. And if 2y equals 8, then y is 4. You divide both sides by 2. So that means my y-intercept is 4, and my point is 0, 4. The only reason I bring up those points is because if we want to graph them, we need the ordered pair. I haven't drawn any of my lines. I think you have a coordinate plane on your handout. I'm going to graph 2, 0. So that means over 2, 0, and then 0, 4. I have 2 points, and so I can connect my 2 points. And remember, extend with arrows, and I have graphed my equation. I found my intercepts, and then I graphed it. All right, let's do B together. On example B, to find my intercepts, remember you have to substitute 0 in. So to find my x-intercept, I'm going to let y equals 0. So if this is 0, then I have 0 equals 5x minus 10. 0 equals 5x minus 10. I want to move my 10 over, so I'm going to add 10. 10 equals 5x. You divide both sides by 5, and x equals 2. So my x-intercept is 2. My x-intercept is 2. To find my y-intercept, I'm going to let x equal 0. 5 times 0 is 0, so this is going to just be 0. And y equals -10. So my y-intercept is -10. So I have my x-intercept is 2. My y-intercept is -10. Now, I need to graph -10 on the y-axis. So I have to count down. Maybe your coordinate plane goes all the way to 10. I don't know. I don't remember. And then my x-intercept is 2. So that means I need to go 2 in the positive direction on the x-intercept. 1, 2. And I need to connect these. It's going to be a very steep line. But I have graphed a line using my intercepts. I found my x and y intercepts, and then I used those to graph a line. Okay, I think you have a C and D. All right, so for C, we're going to do the same thing. My x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, you substitute 0 in for y. 10 times y is 0, so this is going to go away, and I'm left with 8x equals 30. Well, that's not going to come out really nice and pretty because 8 doesn't go into 30 evenly, and it's okay. You're going to divide by 8 on both sides, and you get 30 divided by 8. And if you were to leave that, either reduce it, You could divide by, I don't know, 4. No. Oops. Sorry, just my screensaver went on. Divide by 2, and you get 15 over 4. And that is going to be 3 3/4. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. We know where 3 3/4 is on a number line. It's between 3 and 4, closer to 4. And it's okay to have a fraction or decimal, 3.75. To find the y-intercept, we substitute x as 0. So 8 times 0 is 0. 10y equals 30. And this one, you divide by 10, and y equals 3. So I know that my y-intercept is 3, my x-intercept is 3 3/4 or 3.75. So to graph these, I'm going to go up on the y-intercept to 3, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. My x-intercept is 3.75, which is going to be close to the 4. And then I draw my line and I extend with my arrows. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to be a whole number every time. These are still solutions to your equation. Oh, I need to do D. Okay, this one, x minus 3y equals 0. We need to find the x and y axis. The x and y intercepts. So to find my x-intercept, I have to let y equal 0. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. So x equals 0 is my intercept. That's okay. To find the y-intercept, I need to let x equal 0. So if x is 0, I have negative 3y equals 0. Divide both sides by negative 3, and y equals 0. Well, if your x-intercept is 0 and your y-intercept is 0, then that means it would be right here in the origin. Because this point would be 0, 0, and this point would be 0, 0. That doesn't tell us where to graph. That is the intercept, is the origin. The x-intercept and the y-intercept are the same. We don't know which way to graph in this equation. So if you ever do come across this, then you just need to pick some domains, negative 1 and 1. I already have 0. I know it's 0, 0. So if I pick negative 1 and I plug it in for x, negative 1, and then I put 1 in for x, I can solve it to find my other values. And we know how to do that. You would type in negative 1, and then you would add 1 and bring it over here. Divide by negative 3. And y equals negative 1/3. And then I would substitute 1 in for x. I'm just going to do it over here. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Divide by negative 3. And y equals 1/3. Oops. So now I have 2 points. Negative 1 and 1/3. So negative 1 and 1/3. And positive 1, oh wait, sorry. Negative 1 and negative 1/3. And positive 1 and 1/3. And then you can still, now on this one, the x and y intercept were the origin, so I couldn't graph it. That's why I had to do a table. If you ever can't graph it, you can always make a table. All right, last problem, a real world problem. Sorry. All right, I think you have the problem on your paper, so I'm going to read it. It says, Jay spends $24 for cookies and ice cream. Cookies cost $3 a box and ice cream costs $4 a carton. Graph the equation where x is the boxes of cookies and y are the cartons of ice cream. What do the x and y intercepts represent? So here is my equation. $3 for a box of cookies, $4 for a carton of ice cream. We're going to use our intercepts. To find the x-intercept, you let y equal 0. 3x equals 24. So the x-intercept is 8. To find the y-intercept, we're going to let x equal 0. 4y equals 24. So y-intercept is 6. Okay? I have my intercepts. Now I can graph it. My x-intercept is 8, so I need to go over 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My y-intercept is 6, so I need to go positive 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to connect those, and I have graphed my equation. Now, the last part says, what do the x and y-intercepts mean? Well, at this point right here, this is 0, 6. What that means, this is the y-intercept. That means that if Jay wanted to buy food, he would have to buy 0 cookies and 6 ice cream. 0 boxes of cookies and 6 cartons of ice cream. That's what that point right there represents. 0 boxes of cookies and 6 cartons of ice cream. The x-intercept over here, this point is 8, 0. This means that Jay would buy 8 boxes of cookies and 0 ice cream. So the intercepts can have real-world meanings when you're graphing them. And then this line right here means those are all the other combinations he could buy boxes of cookies and carton of ice cream. But the intercept specifically means how many, if this is the y, how many cartons of ice cream with 0 boxes of cookies. And the x means how many boxes of cookies with 0 ice cream. All right, we are going to practice finding intercepts and graphing them in class.